Welcome to my channel. Subscribe, listen, and enjoy my stories every day. I always prided myself on trust, the solid unspoken pact that knitted Leslie and my marriage together, even with the miles that often stretched between us. She traveled frequently for work, a reality of her high-flying career in corporate law that I had come to terms with. I never had reason to doubt her, until today. The sun was sinking low as I returned home from work, casting long shadows across the front porch. There, nestled among the usual bills and magazines, lay an envelope, plain but for the neat, anonymous script that addressed it to me. No stamp, no return address. Curiosity pricked at me as I sliced it open. Inside, a single sheet of paper held a message that would shatter the calm rhythm of my daily life. Your wife, Leslie, is not just working on her trips. She's been seeing someone else in Maplewood. Don't take my word for it. See for yourself, she's there now. Maplewood. The city echoed in my mind, a dull throbbing started at the base of my skull. It was absurd, a cruel joke perhaps. But doubt has a way of creeping in, insidious and cold. Without a second thought, I grabbed my keys and headed for Maplewood. The drive was a blur, my thoughts racing faster than the miles ticking by. By the time the city lights came into view, night had fully fallen, and with it, a shroud of apprehension settled over me. I found her at La Fleur, a quaint little bistro that she had mentioned fondly more than once. There she was, her laughter reaching me even before I saw her face. She was not alone. Across from her sat a man whose face was obscured by the dim lighting and my rapidly fogging glasses. I pushed through the door, the bell tinkling overhead far too cheerful for the storm brewing inside me. As I approached, the man turned, and recognition hit me with the force of a physical blow. It was Derek, my own brother, his expression morphing quickly from amusement to shock. Before I could speak, my phone buzzed. It was a message from Derek, the words twisting the knife already lodged in my chest. Leslie has been close with me and my friend for a long time. Recently I found out she was your wife. I knew you wouldn't believe it without proof, so I had to draw you out. What's our plan of action now? The room spun, a maelstrom of betrayal and confusion. I looked from the message to Derek, then to Leslie, whose eyes were wide with a dawning realization. I can explain, she started, but I was barely listening. A thirst for revenge settled in my soul, cold and hard. I typed back a response to Derek, my fingers numb and automatic. First things first. We talk. Now. Alone. Derek nodded, his face grim as he stood up, excusing himself from Leslie with a mumbled apology that she barely acknowledged, her eyes fixed on me, filled with an emotion I couldn't read. As Derek and I stepped outside into the brisk night air, the weight of the evening's revelations pressed down on me. Trust, once the cornerstone of our relationship, now lay in ruins at our feet. What happened next? I didn't know. But I was certain of one thing: nothing would ever be the same again. The cool night air bites at my skin as Derek leads me down the street, away from the warm glow of the restaurant. Our footsteps echo off the empty sidewalks, each step a hammer strike to my racing heart. We stop beneath the faint light of a street lamp, casting long shadows that seem to slice the pavement. Derek looks at me, his face a mixture of regret and resolve. I swear I didn't know at first who she was to you, he begins, his voice low, almost a whisper. When I found out, why I cut him off, not needing his excuses, just the raw truth. He sighs, running a hand through his hair. It wasn't planned. Leslie and we met at a conference a year ago. It was casual at first. Then, things got more serious. Serious, I echo, bitterness lacing my tone. He nods solemnly. Yes, but listen, I had no idea she was your wife until recently. She never wore a ring, never talked about her personal life. It was all business, or so I thought. I struggle to process his words, a tumultuous mix of anger and disbelief churning within me. Before I can respond, my phone vibrates. A text from Leslie. Please let me explain. Meet me at the park. Alone, I love you. I showed Derek the message. He reads it and nods. You should go, hear her side. Are you part of her side? I ask sharply. No, this ends now. I'll back off, he promises, a solemnity in his gaze that I hadn't seen in years. With a heavy heart, I leave Derek standing under the street lamp and head toward the park, each step heavier than the last. Leslie is there, seated on a bench, her figure cloaked in the dim park lighting. As I approach, she stands, her posture tense. "Thank you for coming," she says as I stop in front of her. "Start talking," I demand, not ready to soften yet. She takes a deep breath. "It's true, I've been seeing Derek, but it's not what you think. It was never about love. It's about the Merlington deal. The deal I was working on, it's big, and Derek's friend had inside information. It was all a game, part of the negotiation." "A game?" I echo incredulously. "You played with our lives for a business deal." She reaches out, touching my arm. "I got too deep before I realized I couldn't get out without the deal falling apart. I thought I could handle it. I thought it wouldn't affect us. I was wrong." Her confession hangs between us, a stark revelation of how far she'd gone, how blurred the lines had become. At that moment, another figure emerges from the shadows, a woman in a sharp business suit, her expression stern. "Leslie, we need to talk. Now." Leslie turns to her, then back to me. "This is my boss, Miranda. She's the one who orchestrated the whole setup." Miranda steps forward, extending her hand, which I don't take. "We were close to securing the deal because of Leslie's involvement. I understand this is personal, but from a business standpoint, it was brilliant." I look between the two women, betrayal and business intertwining in the worst possible way. "And you," I say to Leslie, "you agreed to this." Leslie's eyes meet mine, filled with regret. "I thought I could keep it separate. I didn't realize how much it would cost until now." I step back, the pieces falling into place, each revelation another crack in the already shattered trust. "I need time," I say finally, turning away from Leslie and her boss, the park suddenly too suffocating to bear. As I walk away, the night seems darker than before, the path ahead uncertain. One thing is clear: this is far from over. As the city sleeps, the turmoil within me rages on, a storm of betrayal and deceit that no quiet of the night can quell. My footsteps echo on the pavement, a rhythmic pounding that matches the thud of my racing heart. I've walked without direction, yet find myself at the steps of an old, familiar bar. Maybe inside, amongst the clink of glasses and the murmur of voices, I can drown out the noise in my head. The dim light inside is a welcome reprieve from the glaring street lamps outside. I settle into a secluded corner booth, a strategic spot that allows me to see without being easily noticed. The bartender nods at me, a silent acknowledgement as he sets down a whiskey, neat the usual. I'm halfway through the glass when my phone vibrates. It's Derek. "Need to talk." Urgent, my throat tightens, but I text back a terse "outside in 5. Stepping out, the crisp air feels sharp against my skin. Derek is already there, pacing, a visible tension in his every step. "Didn't think I'd find you here," he starts off, his voice strained. "I needed to think," I reply, my voice equally taut. He stops pacing, looking directly at me. "It's about Leslie and Miranda. It's not just a simple business deal. There's more, something bigger." I frown, the weight of his words heavy in the air between us. "What are you talking about?" Derek runs a hand through his hair, frustration etched on his face. "I did some digging after our talk. Miranda's not just pushing for a business advantage, she's linked to something else, something illegal. I think Leslie's caught up in it too deep now." The implications of his words hang ominously in the night air, a threat that goes beyond broken trust and into the realm of danger. "Are you sure about this?" I ask, skepticism and fear mingling in my voice. "Absolutely," he confirms. "I've contacted a friend in the FBI. He's looking into it. We might need to protect Leslie." "Protect her," I repeat, anger flaring up again. "After everything." He nods solemnly. "She's in over her head. Whether we like it or not, we might be the only ones who can help her now." A silence falls over us, filled only by the distant sound of a siren wailing through the night. Finally, I nod. "What do you need from me?" "Stay close to Leslie. Keep your eyes open. Anything unusual, "You let me know immediately," Derek instructs, his demeanor more that of a protective older brother now than the man who betrayed me. As he walks away, a part of me wants to call him back, to yell, to unleash the turmoil inside. But I stay silent, the gravity of the situation anchoring my feet to the ground. Returning to the bar, I find my drink waiting, now diluted with melted ice. The bartender shoots me a concerned look but says nothing. I appreciate the silence, it gives me space to think, to plan. My mind races with the possibilities, the danger, the legality of it all. But underneath, a simmering determination begins to build. Leslie might have betrayed me, but I can't stand by and watch her destroy herself. I down the rest of my whiskey in one go, the burn a stark reminder of the fire building inside me. It's time to act, time to step into the fray. The night is far from over, and so is this fight. The city wakes under a blanket of fog, the morning light struggling to pierce through the dense white. I've barely slept, the night's revelations haunting every moment of rest. Leslie is still asleep when I quietly slip out of the house, her breathing steady, a stark contrast to the storm inside me. I drive to Miranda's office, a sleek glass building that rises arrogantly against the gray skyline. Today I will confront her, demand the truth that has been shrouded in half-truths and corporate deceit. As I enter the lobby, my phone vibrates. It's Derek. "Be careful, don't trust anyone there." I pocket the phone and stride to the elevator, hitting the button for the top floor. The ride up feels interminable, each passing floor ratcheting up my anxiety. When the doors finally open, Miranda is there to greet me, her smile too perfect, too practiced. "Ah, the concerned husband," she begins, her tone patronizing. "Come to defend his wife's honor." I don't flinch. I came for the truth. "What are you involving Leslie in?" Her smile fades as she leads me into her office, closing the door with a soft click. "Very well. Leslie is indeed involved in a delicate matter, but not how you think." Before she can continue, the office door bursts open. FBI agents swarm in, Derek at their helm. Miranda's face blanches, her composed mask slipping for the first time. "Miranda Stahl, you're under arrest for fraud and insider trading," Derek announces, his voice firm, devoid of the brotherly warmth I'm used to. Miranda laughs, a sound sharp and cold. "You think this is about money? This is bigger than any of you can comprehend." As the agents cuff her, Derek motions me to follow him outside. Once out of earshot, he lowers his voice. "We found the evidence we needed, but there's more. Leslie was actually working with us, not Miranda." I stop in my tracks. "What?" He nods. "Leslie approached us months ago about Miranda's activities. She's been undercover, helping us gather evidence. She wanted to tell you many times, but it could have blown her cover." The world tilts, the pieces clicking into place, a mosaic of loyalty, deception, and courage. And the affair. Derek looks away. That was a cover, a necessary act to gain Miranda's trust. It was never real. The revelation hits like a wave, relief and love flooding in where doubt once resided. We return to the precinct to see Leslie being debriefed, her face tired but resolute. When she sees me, her expression softens. "I'm so sorry," she begins, stepping forward. "I wanted to protect you." I pull her into an embrace, cutting off her words. I know everything." As we stand there, the chaos of the precinct fades into the background. The path forward won't be easy, but we have clarity and truth on our side. In the end, it wasn't a story of betrayal, but one of profound loyalty and unseen sacrifices. As we walk out together, hand in hand, the sun finally breaks through the fog, casting long, forgiving shadows behind us. The city, once a battleground of secrets, now welcomes us into the light of a new day.